The Civil Aviation Authority has suspended Ghana Airlines air transport license and air operator certificate indefinitely with effect from midnight of Wednesday, the 28th of July. The suspension order handed down by the Director General Captain Musa Nuhu of the Ncaa has since been communicated to the management of Ghana Airlines. So let's fly this morning with Arise Business Analyst Chikambonu live here in the studio with me. Yeah, we're going to fly, but it depends on whether you have electricity to do so. So we're going to combine. Let's have an electrified conversation with the collapse of the grid.
Let's start with aviation.
With the aviation. Okay, let's fly. I'm flying with you.
Let me dispense with that quickly.
Please.
And again, just like I said, when the news of battery contractors came out, the challenges of Ghana are not due to the happening of currently of aviation fuel going from 100 and something naira to about 800 naira. That could have been put the death nail on the airline. But you see, the issue was that there was an examination, an audit, the financial and commercial audit of the airline, and also a review of the technical review of their operation. And Ncaa, the regulatory body, found out that the airline could not continue profitably if it doesn't have liquidity finance to want to run an airline and that to guarantee safety to Nigerian citizens. This issue goes to the root of the challenges we have in Nigerian aviation, and it happens that Ghana has fallen on the knife now of Ncaa. Something tells me that on the basis of what Ncaa said, which is like meeting their financial obligation and running profitably and safety flight operations, that some other airlines are going to fall under this hammer. The immediate impacts include the fact that, of course, there's a reduction in capacity. If I pick the Abuja route, for example,
Lagos
Abuja route, for example, Ghana has 5 flights daily either way. Now, Aero had also 3 flights daily. So if we have 100 passengers per aircraft, for example, we have 8 flights times 100, about 800 seats are off the grid for the airlines. So it's going to be a lot more challenges now for travelers in the short term. But remember also on this program, I thought about the fact that the traveling public has been cannibalized among the airlines. That indeed, for example, the 7 o'clock flight to Abuja sometimes, you find about 6, 7, I just will show the list of the airlines there. Literally every airline there has a morning flight to Abuja.
From Lagos?
From Lagos.
From 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock,
yeah,
to 8 o'clock.
And you find some of them go half empty. And we have been talking about the fact that airlines should, partner together. And so, what may happen for the survival industry is the fact that slowly consolidation will happen in the industry. And then once that happens, what may happen then is that the few airlines remaining, we have the guaranteed passenger capacity to go out and look for the right funding to get quality and newer aircraft. Unlike the old classics most of the airlines are using. Indeed, the aircraft of Ghana, MD-83 is just one old horse. And then they have some classic 737. So the issue is, apart from APs that just got some new aircraft already, most of the aircraft in Nigeria are the classics. Now, so for the industry, therefore, somebody will ask, what is the direction? The direction includes the fact that, as I said,
yes,
people must also consolidate.
The number of passengers flying in Nigeria has increased?
Has not increased.
Has not increased.
I read that issue some time ago. Said that one of the challenges the industry must gather together to work on is the fact that they must find ways of expanding the traveling net. Because the same passengers...
How do you mean?
Yeah, because, unfortunately, what's happened was that they were trying to get in on that journey until they increase the airfares from double the airfares. Now, if the airfares are moderate, at the time before this last increase, some of the land journeys, the fare for the land journeys were almost as equal to the fares for the routes
for top end
the routes.
Yeah, the operators.
Yeah, so it means therefore that the airlines needed to worry about the last mile journeys. For example, if you land in Port Harcourt, how do you get into the town? That's the issue. And the airlines were supposed to work together to make that happen. So the issue is, how do you expand the traveling net? And aviation grows, stimulates the economy. If the economy is good, aviation is good. And so it's symptomatic of how bad things economy.
Do you think the level of insecurity is getting a few more folks to fly rather than travel by road? If you're going with family and friends, schools are going on holidays right now. So if you want to move your family from here to Enugu, I'm not likely you're going to put them in an SUV. 4, 5, 6 of you, you're going to likely put all them in the air. I
agree with you. That actually, when the crescendo for security was at the highest, a lot of people, flocked to the aviation, to the airlines.
With the attack on the Abuja,
exactly.
Rail line.
Yeah, it helped their load factors. Their load factors. But what happened was that as people are getting used to 25,000 naira fare for 45 minutes, 50 minutes flight, they doubled it to about 56,000 naira.
Yes.
And that chased away so many people. That's what happened. So the inflation in the environment, the challenges in the industry that has to do with aviation fuel, has made things worse. But the issue is that the industry is crying for consolidation.
Because an investment.
Because you saw the airlines I listed, there were about 10 of them before.
Yes.
8 remaining now, 2 gone.
Yes.
Now, each of these airlines at each airport will have their staff.
Ticketing,
ground handling,
yes.
Everything. Each airline. So
and again, if you look at the service operators too, like Ncaa, Avians, and the rest, and Sky Power, whatever it's called, they're all going to be impacted. Because once you ground airlines,
traffic. So the point I'm trying to make was that if you come all these airlines, out of the aircraft they have, the ones working number 8 now,
yes,
other aircraft are number than 40. That is can be one airline's aircraft, which doesn't require 8 set of employees in every airport. And so many other ground handling staff in every airport, which will reduce the cost of operation and make the business profitable. Let's look at power. Let's
get this a bit into electricity consumption. What are the realities? The grid is down again. Is Nigeria's power problem intractable? Hold on a second. Is it the problem intractable? And are there quick wins here? Something we can fix maybe on a daily basis. Then progressively we get to bring power to the people.
I don't have to say this. We've spoken so much about power on this program. Of course, I'm not about the fact that the country is literally in a standstill. Our economy, some research said that every 1,000 megawatt you have added to your grid is about 1.5 to your GDP. That's 1.5% of GDP. So you can imagine the impact of that on our GDP. Now, but this is happening at the back of, do you recall that about 2 weeks ago, the chairman of Nigerian Electricity Regulation Council, NEC, said that all the stakeholders in the power value chain have signed an undertaking that from July 1, there's a minimum guarantee of 500 megawatts for the country. And Nigerians should wait and see that from July 1, there will be massive change in the availability of power in our country. Lo and behold, the saliva hasn't finished drying up in his speech when this has happened. So I do recall also that when he made that speech, a lot of some of the stakeholders in the value chain expressed some doubt as to the ability of that to happen, and so we're not surprised again that this has happened. Each time, remember, Gencos produce power, you pass it through transmission to discos.
It passed through TCN.
Yeah, that
and that's where the system collapsed.
That's where the system the TCN, the transmission company of Nigeria,
which is the midwife, as it were, between the generators and distributors.
You know how you have 3 siblings, 2 of them are not even there, but they say just keep pointing at you as you're the weak link. Gencos are not up there, discos are not up there, but everybody points to the fact that the weak link in the power value chain in Nigeria is what?
The TCN.
The TCN.
So how do we resolve the TCN?
Sadly, or funnily, or understandably, TCN is managed by the Nigerian government.
100%.
100%. For security reasons. there have been proposals as to how to, push it out there. But as we talked about the NNPC yesterday,
yes,
that government is managing something does not mean that it must be in the gutter. Doesn't mean that it must be trash. So TCN, since government has, they are competent Nigerians everywhere. And then last week even there was a hearing in Nigerian House of Reps, and one of the houses, I think House of Reps, about the issue of staffing and whatever. That you're running a Nigerian enterprise owned by Nigeria, doesn't mean it can be run to world-class standard.
Now the Senate, as the law is going out, that state governments can now produce electricity. Will those electricity produced go on the national grid that collapses every day?
You had former Governor Suswan say it, that it can actually be insular, in the sense that you can
deal in the states.
You can generate, transmit, and distribute, and
without it going to the national grid.
And then, if you recall, when our president did the interview with Bloomberg, he mentioned that he was waiting for that bill, that bill was going to help in solving the problem of power in Nigeria.
So you think we're at a junction where something big is about to happen, in which power goes from just being centralized at the federal level to across the 36 states of the federation?
If this law is signed into this bill is signed into law by the president, it's supposed to provide an opportunity for people like Lagos State government or River State government who have the wherewithal to provide power to their state. And, because what happens now is that you cook your nice food in your kitchen, you have to bring the whole thing into the central pool for everybody to eat. And by the time it gets to you, there's nothing there. So now, you can actually localize your power generation, your power transmission, and power distribution based on this bill. And that's why the president brought it up during his Bloomberg interview, that this is going to be a milestone. The Senate president also actually said it. But let me put something here. The Senate president said, just let me add something. The Senate president talked about the banks taking over the discos. Banks are not going to run. They're not going to run discos.
No, they're not.
What the banks took over are the ownership.
Yeah, the collateralized.
The ownership shares, of those discos, and then appoint the right management, professionals, and let the business be run to the best standards.
Yeah, because it's in the interest of the banks that the discos don't collapse. Because they need the money, by the way. A good customer to a bank is a good customer, so the money don't discriminate. But again, we've got to deal with tariffs. Give me an idea. What's going to be if states has to generate power? So which means I may have to decide to go live somewhere else and work in Lagos, because if...
Listen, do you know that in some areas in Lagos, estates in Lagos,
yes,
they have up to 23 hours guaranteed power?
I don't like discrimination.
No, because those estates have agreed with the discos on tariffs about, I think the tariff now is about 45-15
yes, I'm aware.
naira per minute.
So instead of evenly distributing electricity, they give to the highest paying consumer.
Because I told you the issue, again, Nigeria, is what? Pricing. Pricing is a major issue. As far as you're holding down the pricing of power, just like we're talking about PMS,
yes,
people keep asking me, why do we have constant scarcity? We have constant scarcity because of what? We're holding down prices. Listen, please note, there's no smuggling of diesel from Nigeria to Cotonou. There's no smuggling of aviation fuel. Why do you think it's so?
Pricing.
The reason they smuggle to Cotonou and all these places is what? Petrol.
Because it's 165.
Yeah.
But this is 800, almost 1,000.
Capitalism has no, even if you put the best people on those borders, they will look at 165, 800, 165, and the next thing they just, even if it's one drum, they move over. Why is diesel not being smuggled? Why the aviation fuel not being smuggled? Do you know that some of our airlines sometimes actually fly to Ghana to buy aviation fuel because it's cheaper there? Pricing is what?
It's king.
Everything.
Okay, so so if we put power sector problem within the quest for non-oil exports, there has to be a game changer, which was the heart of the Zenith Bank yesterday, which was a great one.
We spoke about this when we were talking about the MPC multi-policy committee meeting minutes on Tuesday. That, and I'm always like a crack record in this program on this, that 1.4 million barrels a day even at the best rate, $70 per barrel for 200 million people. Nothing can happen to us. Can't touch, until the country diversifies to non-oil export. On a GDP level, brother, non-oil export is about 90%. Oil contributes about 10%
yes.
of the GDP. Go down below and look at our contribution to revenues and foreign exchange.
Yes.
The reverse is the case.
Is the case.
Because the non-oil export is not sweating. It's not sweating.
We're not sweating it enough.
You're not sweating it here enough. And this Zenith seminar,
yes.
Helps in that. Because the issues confronting export is lack of attention. Focusing on the element, the issues that, funding, and the logistics.
Policies.
Yeah. If you know the frustration that exporters go through with customs and Nigerian Ports Authority and so on and so that
I was there yesterday, and I'm not too sure. A few things that I heard around off the camera. I'm not sure if I can relay some of them here because of issues between agencies that are not cooperating and working together, again, to the detriment of the... and some of these stories have been there for years. So, are we doing anything right a little bit? Some folks say the central bank's RT 200 billion is laudable in one direction. The central bank governor was there begging the MPA and customs to please ensure.
Yeah, but
because I'm going to say, look, if you're exporting, then that means you're providing jobs locally, you're exporting inflation. But when you are importing, you're bringing problem home.
Yeah. See, you just raised some issue now. I keep saying, I said before, that a nation that actually is looking at expanding export, everything looks from the top. And that has not been the case. We neglected non-oil export and the challenges and the cries of exporters in the country here. That's it. Why would these agencies you mentioned that you can't tell the story here? Why would, are they not reported? Are they not agencies of federal government of Nigeria that's looking for the non-oil export? Can't somebody take charge and make sure that this has happened? Why will exporters be crying and crying and crying and nobody's listening? Meanwhile, every day, someone will come and read our policy in the government is to expand the non-oil. Why? That doesn't work now. We must walk the talk, back it up. Okay. CBN is trying on their own. They identify the key elements of the challenges: funding for working capital, funding for capital equipment, and then the non-oil export terminal, and that will help.
Okay, let's continue this conversation some other time. As always, it's good to have you here in the studio.
Thank you.
I missed having you and being the show here. Rotu Sadiri will be back tomorrow.